Hello and welcome back to my channel, Other Side of the Pillow. Today we'll be talking about the topic of dream walking. And to get started, I have a few different definitions for you. So the first definition is a dream walker is someone who works within the dream space to heal, understand, create, or meet with their ancestors. They journey outside of the body. The second definition is a much more simplified of the first definition, which is a lucid dreamer. And then the third definition is which what I want to talk about today is the ability to enter, view, share another person's dream. This can be done either willingly or unwillingly, and consciously and unconsciously. Now, typically, people that you dream share with are someone that you're close to, friends, family members, lovers, someone that you share a similar vibrational frequency with, because it's easier for you to connect your dream space when you do share that frequency. So how do you know that you're dream walking or you're dream sharing? Quite simply, the easiest way to know is you see that person in your dream. It might feel like this is not necessarily your dream. You're seeing things that are uncommon, that you're not really used to, or that you're just like a third-party observer to that. Now, how can you confirm this? The easiest way is to just get on the telephone, call the person when you wake up, and just ask them, like, hey, what did you dream about? And that's the easiest way to get those answers, but people aren't always going to necessarily remember those dreams. So how do you know that you've dream shared or you've dream walked without remembering your dream? So side effects of that would be like you wake up, either you feel a person's energy, they're on your mind, you feel like you want to connect or talk to them. Again, get on the telephone, give them a call, and you might be surprised. They might say, hey, I was just thinking about you, or, hey, I just had a dream about you. And those are good indicators that you have been dream walking or dream sharing. Now, let's say you want to practice dream walking or dream sharing with someone. So first, I would get someone, again, like I said, someone you're close with, a friend, a family member, or a lover, someone that is also interested in the practices with you. They could be a lucid dreamer, or they can be completely new to it. Either way, you want to stay consistent. You want to match up your sleep schedules, go to bed at the same time, follow the same meditational practices. So as you go to bed, you want to clear your mind, open your chakras, ground, start to think about that individual. How do they make you feel? Think of their face, feel their energy, and then just can set that intent. Try to keep your lucid mind and your consciousness as you enter the dreamscape. And once you're in the dreamscape, if you're not already in that person's dream, you can call out to the dream space and go to visit that person. But remember, when you're doing this, always keep a positive intent. You don't want to take any negative intent. You don't want to do this to anyone that you hate or your enemies, because it's my belief that in the dream space, the karmic laws are a lot more magnified because you're in a higher connection to source. Anything that you put back, you're going to get it back twicefold, the law of karma. And that's the last thing that you want. So continue these practices and eventually you will have some form of success. Now, to share a few of my experiences with you with the dream walking and the dream sharing, I had a buddy of mine, his name was Joey, and we used to practice a lot of different goals together. And the first goal that we set was to try to communicate with one another through dream sharing or dream walking, and we would set a key phrase. And then that next day, we wouldn't necessarily get in contact right in the morning, but we'd wait for most of the day to go through. We would call the other and say, hey, were there any words that jumped out to you? Were there any images, maybe animals, something of that nature? And for the most part, we didn't have much success, but the one instance that we did have success was through my dream. And like I said, the other person might not always remember or recollect being in your dream or communicating with you through the dream. So the dream started out, I'm in a house, I become lucid. So I shout out to the dream space that I would like to share Joey's dream. And instead of being transported to his dream, like this old-timey telephone had formed in front of me, and I picked it up and I put it to my ear where I could hear him on the other end. And at first we're talking like, oh my God, this is so cool, and we need to think of our key phrase. And I tried to think of a word that you wouldn't necessarily use in conversation, and the first thing that popped into my mind was lollipop. So I said, all right, the key phrase is lollipop. Ended up hanging up the phone, we woke up, and throughout the next course of the day, I let things go. I didn't hear the key phrase, and I ended up calling him towards the end of the night. We discussed the dream. He said he did not remember having the dream, and he didn't hear lollipop throughout the day. So, we hang up the phone, and we go about our business. Not 5 minutes later, my sister had texted me a meme. And in the meme, it was a guy of a bald head, and he had like a few straggler hairs on, and it says, when you drop your lollipop on the carpet. And I just had to laugh. And two, I just thought it was really cool because, manifestation brought that through fruition, that, you know, I picked the key phrase that I wouldn't see or wouldn't hear, and here it is presented in front of me. I then text that to my friend Joey, and he got a big kick out of it as well. And then from there, we just continued our dream experiments into other areas. Now, another instance of dream sharing that I've had, and I've got one more to share with you after this, was I was in this dark hotel business building type, and I see my father. And we're not necessarily communicating, but I see him, he's frantic, I feel his energy, he's trying to get out of this place. He's ripping through the ceiling, he's going through wiring, he's climbing in the roof, and eventually he does get out, and the next morning I give him a call, and I was just like, hey, what's going on? Did you dream last night? And he says that he did, and I told him what I had saw in my dream, and it completely shocked him, because that was the exact dream that he had. And that was one of my most notable instances of dream walking. Now, a second one that I can't necessarily confirm because it was with my young son at the time. He was in between 3 to 4, and in the dream, I remember him being stuck behind a door. Like when you open it up and it hits the wall, and he's sitting back there and he's trying to get out and he's pushing it and he can't, and he's starting to cry and freak out. I wake up. A couple minutes later, he wakes up crying, freaking out. So I go into his room, I console him, I bring him into my room, and he goes back to sleep. Now, being that young, I couldn't confirm that that was his dream or if it wasn't, but to my belief, I believe that I witnessed his nightmare. And him being my son, like I said, being a family member very close to, it's easy for you to share those dreams of that individual. Now, I'm curious to hear any of your experiences. Have you dream shared? Have you dream walked? Do you practice with anyone? Go ahead and comment your experiences down below. I would love to hear them. I would love to discuss them in further videos. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. I look forward to putting out my next video for you.
Someone's gonna change.